think we're good, Ty. So it's just about to be 4:05. So if you want to kick us off, it looks like we got quite a few people there. Remind everybody to please go on in the chat. I put the link to the sign-in sheet. If you guys could make sure you click on that and put an X to show that you're present today, we'd really appreciate that. And Ty, when you get ready, if you want to kick us off and remind everyone that we are going to audio record this today, correct?
Correct. So we'll go ahead and get started. It is now 4:05. We will go ahead and begin the Safety and Security Committee meeting.
Gotta unmute you, Ty. Gotta unmute you.
Oh, that helps if you unmute. It's now 4:05. We'll go ahead and kick off the Safety and Security Committee meeting. This is our regular meeting, date for August 22, 2022, beginning on there about 4 p.m. This is a virtual meeting using Google. The open meeting requires act that this meeting be live streamed, audio streamed the following link, which is on our website. The meeting ID is included. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted on the Brazosport Independent School District Administrative website. The Safety Committee meeting notice is embedded in the link, and I will go ahead and call the meeting to order. I think we've got right now by my count about 21 people on the line. Mr. Whitehead has already indicated that if you are in the meeting, please use the link that's in the chat room to sign in and put an X to your name so we can annotate that you were here. We will begin this meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's see, the Pledge Allegiance to the flag, to the United States of America, and to the Republic for which it stands, in one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And then we'll pledge the Texas flag. I pledge the Texas flag, honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, and one and indivisible. We'll open up if any of the audience has any general comments or wishing to speak at this time before we move into our regular meeting. Hearing none, I'll move right into the actions, starting with Mr. Whitehead will give a presentation.
Okay, thank you, Ty. I appreciate that. So, just giving you a little general information to begin today's meeting. Thank you all for being here. On June 1st and 2nd, Governor Abbott did charge TEA and the Texas School Safety Center with directives to improve safety in our public schools. And from that, TEA and the Texas School Safety Center did set forth some actions that are required by all local education agencies. So as you can see in the bulleted section here, the following actions are required for us, and those actions are somewhat covered in what we're doing right now, which is the first bullet. We convene the LEA Safety and Security Committee to review the multi-hazard operation plan as well as the emergency operation plan regarding the active threat plan. So those two items in yellow there, Ty will cover in a little more detail after I do a general overview of the remaining bullets, which are the things that were required for our district, the summer targeted partial safety audit, which all campuses participated, the exterior door safety audit, again, all campuses participated in that as well, training of staff and substitutes for all of our safety procedures, scheduled all mandatory drills for the year. Threat assessment team members have been trained, and we reviewed and updated any control procedures, including adding to our EOPs the exterior door sweeps at least once a week. There is a link down there at the very bottom for the full detailed information about what is required for all LEAs this summer and ongoing. We will have to submit a survey to the Texas School Safety Center and TEA by September 9th. We are on schedule to meet that requirement in fulfilling our duties required as a district. So briefly, I'm going to run through the summer targeted safety audit requirements. What you'll see as I move through these slides quickly is just a general overview. Each campus in BISD, all 19 campuses, the administrators worked with myself, Mr. Morrow, Mr. Schulte, and Chief Nichols, as well as others, to make sure we completed these summer targeted safety audits. Some of the areas of focus were locked door policy, visitors wearing IDs, which we use our Raptor system to meet all the requirements there for access control for visitors. Other areas were keys and entry badges, staff wearing badges, classroom doors locked, the use of cameras, security for rentals for after-hour security needs, and also to ensure we had communications for all call capacity within all of our buildings. Next area of focus was on officers on site or security on site, drills scheduled for the entire year, whether or not you have an anonymous reporting system, and then are you reviewing student data? And for our district, that is done through the Frontline and Swiss systems in our district. We review those to ensure students are being monitored for safe campuses. Moving to staff and student training, staff are trained to report. Staff and subs are trained on safety procedures and protocols. Our threat assessment teams and our Tier 3 monitoring, we do monitor students who have had previous threats, so that is an ongoing practice in our district. We have regular meetings of our threat assessment teams, and we also have service providers, a very extensive list of service providers with communities and schools, 7 licensed professional counselors in our district, 30 school counselors, 3 SEL, social emotional learning specialists, as well as we utilize TCHAT, which is Texas Child Health Access through telemedicine. So we were able to really show the things that we're doing with our additional services in that area. Moving on through the audit, we had to evaluate exterior doors, whether they were sturdy, and I'm going to go through some of the exterior door audit in detail right after this part. Portables, we do not have portables in use currently for students or classrooms. And cafeteria cameras, in the event that you do not have visibility outside of your classroom. Many of our classrooms have ways to view who's on the outside of the cafeteria, so that was a little different type of question for us, but we do have access through cameras, interior and exterior, in our cafeteria areas. Parking lot lighting and cameras was evaluated. Entries are designated on all of our campuses. All visitors have to report to the designated areas. Interior doors were evaluated. Window shades on all of our campuses in our classroom. Unused rooms are locked. And cameras inside and outside the building had to also be evaluated. Okay, so I threw a lot at you in a very short amount of time, because I know that if you're a district and you're dealing with this, or those principals that are on the line, you had to complete this, so you're very familiar with that targeted partial safety audit. We completed all of our audits within our district by August 12th, so we're well ahead of schedule on that. And individual campuses have submitted work orders if there's anything that needs to be repaired, much of which has already been repaired, and we do appreciate the outstanding work of our maintenance department and Mr. Schulte on that. We have made some adjustment with our police officers. We do have police officers actually present on elementary campuses, which has been a great layer for us. 3 to 4 hours every day. The commitment's there, the rotation is there, so we're pleased with that. Staff and students have been trained on standard response protocols. That's done yearly, and we feel really good about that. Our interior and exterior doors are locked. Additional security cameras have been installed. Visitors are registered through and screened through our Raptor system, and the all-call systems are functioning properly. So that was a very extensive partial safety audit for this summer for all 19 campuses. But we're pleased to report that we found that with the facilities we have, we are in great shape. So we are going to report that soon. The additional requirement from TEA, Texas School Safety Center, was a close look at our exterior doors. So I'm going to briefly review some of the findings from our exterior door audit. These are the components that we had to check: the sturdy mullion, the centerpiece, reinforced door frames, auto door closer, which Mr. Schulte loves that one because those things are very sensitive to the weather, very difficult to adjust that it closes perfectly without slamming but closes. So I highlighted that one as being probably the biggest challenge. The auto door lock, which we have on all of our doors, very pleased to say. Emergency open mechanism, which is basically that it can push open. And then we also had to include an access point ID map. So just to briefly let you see what we experienced, we got to check these mullions, reinforced door frames, auto door closer, in case you're not familiar with what that is, as well as the auto door lock, the emergency open mechanism allowing us to easily exit the building, and then of course any doors that are not hinge doors, we check the roll-up doors as well. Here's a little bit of what our tracking sheet looked like. We entered in the campus, the building, and then we had to indicate for each door if the door was operational, non-operational, or if it was not present. Obviously, if you've got a single door, you don't have a mullion involved with that. But that's just a brief look at what we had to work through, as well as numbering the doors. We were in a really good place with numbering our doors from the exterior. Sometimes I want you to be aware that our doors are numbered, could be a bank of doors, not just a single door. If there's a double door, we do not number those, like a front entry door that has 2 to 4 doors. We number that as a door bank. So we've inspected 387 banks of doors. You probably can say there's at least 2 in each bank, sometimes 2, 4, 6 doors. All 387 door banks were found to be secure to the door frame. We didn't have any falling off the door frames. And when they're pulled shut, are the auto mechanism to close the door. So 54 of these bank exterior doors were found to have minor issues, and I can tell you guys, our people doing the evaluation looked at every little detail. So if the mullion was wobbly a little bit and everything, that was looked at. So we were pretty critical on our doors, but found 54, and those doors all, when pulled shut, would lock. We did not have any issues with doors that would not lock. We had a few that maybe when they would close, you'd have to give them a little more pull to make sure it's closed. As a former campus principal, that was common. We're doing everything we can to adjust the door closers, but sometimes when the weather changes, it has to be adjusted. So we were very pleased with the outcome of our exterior door audit, and also that if there were any issues, they've been addressed or being currently addressed by our maintenance department. Overall, we're in excellent shape as a district due to newer buildings and outstanding maintenance. And we did find one of the things that was discovered in this is that during the audit, we felt like we need to go a little further, the extra mile, and make sure that numbering is on the interior of the doors as well. So we're following up with that, not as a requirement, but certainly as something as a district we felt was important to follow up on. I'm going to pause for just 1 second with that and see if there are any questions on sections 1 and 2 before I hand it over to Mr. Barlow. Okay, hearing none immediately, I'll send that over to you, Ty, and let's talk a little bit about the emergency operations plan.
Thank you, Mr. Whitehead. For those that are on the Safety and Security Committee, the Emergency Operations Plan is a multi-hazard plan that gets a live document, so it changes from year to year. with additions of staff or deletions of staff and new protocols that are put in place, like the safety audit and the door audit that took place after the Uvalde event. So in leading up to this meeting, I sent you the EOP for your review. Again, the EOP is a live document. It incorporates many of the things that you have seen before. It will now include the information Mr. Whitehead talked about. And just in summary, the EOP covers, prevention, mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery for all multi-hazards that may occur in the district. And it goes over our planning, our drills, and the things that we have implemented to include the standard response protocols that the students and staff are taught at the beginning of the school year. And then once they come back from their Christmas break, to refresh their memories about what to do if we have to go into secure, a lockdown, evacuation, a shelter, a hold, or we have to reunify. So all those plans are included in that. If you have any questions about the plan or anything therein contained, we can discuss that when we get to the next pieces after we talk about the active threat and the active shooter appendix. So next slide, please, Mr. Whitehead. All right, this is one of the requirements that Texas School Safety Center required, that we had to do what's called an active shooter appendix, which is 2022-2023. And if you can open the hyperlink for me, Mr. Whitehead. I'm not going to go over this in detail. I embedded this in the invitation for you to be able to review prior to today's meeting. And when that appendix opens, it's Texas School Safety Center and TEA asking specific questions of us to see if we have certain plans and protocols in place to deal with an active shooter. And those issues will begin with such things as, do we have training on staff and administration actions on the standard response protocols, which is a document there that Mr. Whitehead's pulling up for us now. And I'm not going to go over each one of these, but what we have done is we have went back, and on the right-hand column which says person responsible or the role, we've identified who's responsible either at the campus level, the district level, at safety and security level, chief of police level, technology level, maintenance and operation level, child nutrition level, counselor level, who has responsibility over each one of these issues to make sure that there's plans and protocols in place. And to simplify the matter, to have proof when TEA or Texas School Safety Center asks for documentation, we have embedded in a link behind each one of these issues, and it'll be in blue, what the district does and how we document that we are doing the things that they're asking. I'm happy to say, based on the leadership, prior to me getting here, and then the collaboration and cooperation with all the cabinet and the campus administration, our district's in a good place. We have issues, we need to, kind of tighten up, but overall, all the things TEA or Texas School Safety Center asked about, we already had plans in place or protocols already in place to fix that, or we're in negotiation and contracts to have companies, fill the gaps that we don't have in place. So you can see the document is pretty extensive, and the district has answers and protocols for most all of these. Okay. We can go to the next one, Mr. Whitehead, which will be the active threat annex. Let's just take them a second to get that one up. Okay, they also required that districts have an active threat annex, and it basically went through to see that we have a policy in place, which Chief Wade Nichols does, that identifies key areas that they specifically ask for as a risk factor, which are shootings, stabbing, blunt force trauma, bomb threat, and vehicle-borne assaults. So there is a policy in place of how Chief Nichols and his staff will respond to that, and then how we're going to be prepared for it, how we train for it, and then how we respond to it, and then how we recover from that event when it happens. So that is all in place. The only piece that is still being kind of finalized is the piece on. They have a separate document where you have to go back through and do what we did on that first appendix. Kind of do the same thing on the appendix for here. But this also identifies, our incident command structure. Who's in control, and of course, Mr. Massey will be the incident command overall of the entire event, and then there will be, secondary commands that will be actually working the actual event. And then it goes through and talks about the different phases and the things that we have in place to either deal with for the preparedness, prevention, mitigation, response, or recovery. And again, we have embedded all the documentation to show that we're doing what is needed to facilitate that. So with that, I would see if anybody has any questions thus far. Okay, seeing none, if we can go to the next slide, Mr. Whitehead. And this last piece is I'm going to show you just a short, it's a 3-minute video, and it's going to talk about Zero Eyes Operations Center, the ZOC, and verifying a threat. And basically, before I start, I'm going to kind of set it up for you. The district has entered into negotiations and pending a contract with this company where they will be able to basically use artificial intelligence embedded into the cameras that we already have in place that will then be able to give us instant notifications if we have individuals that approach our campuses with a weapon. And again, the goal is to have 152 of these cameras embedded with this artificial intelligence at our primary entrance areas. And while he tees this up, it'll give you more explanation about what we're doing. Looks like we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty. Let's see if it pulls up.
Zero Eyes is a team of former Navy SEALs and military special operations veterans teamed up with elite technologists with a mission to save lives. We use your existing video cameras, coupled with our artificial intelligence gun detection, to prevent threats rather than react to them. The Zero Eyes AI gun detection software scans the video feeds of our customer security cameras 24/7, 365 to detect visible, brandished guns, which enables us to provide first responders with actionable intelligence, which ultimately saves lives. False positives can cost wasted time and distress. It can take hours to fully clear a college campus, hospital, or shopping mall. Since AI will never be 100% accurate, one false positive is one false positive too many. That's why we incorporate human verification into our AI gun detection process, to prevent false positives from happening. The Zero Eyes Operations Center, or ZOC, is staffed 24/7 every day of the year.
Verified dispatch has been received.
The ZOC is unique because they're operated by military veterans who are specially trained to assess the situation accurately.
Last known location, camera 7A.
Think of this scenario. If someone pulls out a gun, you'll typically see people around the shooter flee or freeze, which is a very normal human response. Knowing how to react in an active shooter event requires a ton of training. Our veterans have been tested in actual active shooter situations and know exactly what to do, quickly, reliably, and with unmatched situational awareness. What's more, our vets respond professionally and with a calm voice, because calm breeds an effective response to save lives. When Zero Eyes detects a gun, here's what happens. An image appears on the operator's screen with a green box around the gun. In under a second, the operator will zoom in to verify whether it's a gun. Once verified, they will press the dispatch button. Once dispatched, security, Staff and police receive an alert on their mobile app and desktop within 3 to 5 seconds. At the same time, the 911 call center will also receive that same alert. Then our vets verify if that alert was received by calling all the folks who need to know in under 60 seconds. Our ZOC has multiple redundancies to ensure we are always up and running 24/7, 365. We'll even notify our customers when their cameras, power, or networks are down and need resolution. Zero Eyes gives you peace of mind. Our mission is to save time and save lives. We're dedicated to your security. Zero Eyes is a team of former Navy.
Thank you, boss. So with that being said, we're at the position now where we're in the final stages of negotiation with Zero Eyes for that actual piece of hardware to be worked in with technology. And once that's done, it's going to give us another viable option to detect the threat before it's actually in place. So, next slide up, boss. And then the last event that we've got is we are planning a mass casualty and active shooter training, which is being sponsored by, in collaboration with the Department of Homeland Security through the Texas DPS. It's a collaborative process with all our partners here: fire, EMS, law enforcement, public health, nurses, counselors, and all those individuals come together so we can identify, if we have a mass casualty event or an active shooter, so we can all test our capabilities and figure out, where our gaps are, so we can begin to, identify those and then put protocols and plans in place to make sure we can get over those when we have a mass casualty or an active shooter event. Yeah, yeah. So if you got it, if you can key it up, and then you can just pull it up on yours when you're ready. Okay. So I'll kick it back to Mr. Whitehead.
All right, thank you, Ty. Appreciate that. Appreciate that information. So some of the final thoughts here before we conclude and take questions is I did put a link in here to all of our safety measures, which are outlined in our EOP and on our website. And then the additional measures that we've implemented this year, which include additional active shooter training, officers with door breach training, and we're looking at some mechanisms to breach doors, which are very effective and powerful. Chief Nichols is on here, and he's had the opportunity to experience some of that. And we can get in the door very quickly with those door breaching tools.
At the boss, at the end, I think Wade may try to see if he can pull that quick video up on that door breacher.
Okay. Yeah, because of the situation with Uvalde, that has become a very very needed tool to get in. So also, what Ty just mentioned is the AI technology. We also purchased tactical vests, helmets, and shields for our police officers. All exterior doors of the district have been audited. Random safety checks, testing the doors. Our officers are walking around testing doors regularly. Safety specialists are testing doors regularly. And as a district, BISD is very fortunate. We have 21 police officers in BISD, and we've extended our coverage to our elementary schools, which I mentioned earlier. They are there each and every day, a portion of the day. We have signs on order to display on each campus that we will use whatever force necessary to protect our students and staff. And we have also added licensed professional counselors that do serve the entire district. So a very inclusive and extensive list added to this summer. We're very, very pleased and proud that we live in a district that supports and is very serious about safety. And so with that, we'd like to also thank our local municipalities, some of which are represented on this call today, for your ongoing and continued support of our district. We know you guys are there for us, and we value and appreciate your support and ongoing participation in ensuring that our kids are safe. And I'd like to thank each of you today for participating in this call with us. It's very critical to get feedback from you guys as well. And so I think Chief is going to give us a short video potentially, but I would like to take this opportunity to answer any questions. Ms. Hasso is also on here for any social emotional questions. So if anyone has a question, we'll open it up at this time.
Hey Jay, this is Wade. Hey, I apologize. The site is having issues. The site is actually down, so I cannot pull it up.
Okay, not a problem. If anyone wants that, they can email me or Ty or Chief Nichols if you'd like to get a little bit more information about the door breaching tools that we are purchasing with in our district. We'd be happy to provide you with that link to that so you can see how effective it is in breaching a door.
Hello, Jay.
Yes, Steve.
Hi, this is Steve Reed, BSF, and thanks for the call today, and thanks for the great presentation. I did have a couple of questions just to clear my head a little bit. You talked about the door audits that y'all did during the summer. Can you speak a little bit to audits that you would probably do during the semester, like to confirm that things are working, that they're closed when they're supposed to be closed, things like that?
Yeah, thank you. Good question. Steve, one of the things that's actually required of our campuses is weekly exterior door sweeps. So we have teams already on campuses, the administration as well as the safety specialists, that they're providing a documented door sweeps each week. I can say that our principals are now because they had to do their own audit on their campuses, their awareness has increased tenfold. But we are going to document and continue to do weekly door sweeps to ensure that our doors are functioning properly.
And boss, if I can add to that, Chief Wade's staff and the safety and security staff at the secondary campuses and the police officers when they're at the elementary campuses are doing daily door checks, interior and exterior, and then documenting through dispatch when they find either doors unlocked or doors, being propped or, things that shouldn't be, and then they're addressing with the campus administration.
Great, thanks for that. To follow that up, and I don't want you to give away all your security secrets, but we never really talk about what happens when the kids are outside with teachers, with the recess or PE, and things that we have in place to make sure that process works or protected.
I can answer that one for him, boss. Yeah, one of the things that we have in place is we have what's called a Memorandum of Understanding with key facilities near every one of our schools. And then the part of the standard response protocol training that's been given, and then the refresh that we're giving now is we're going to every staff meeting, with actually be invited myself and Chief Wade Nichols, and we're talking at length and at nauseam to them about defense mechanisms: deny, avoid, deny, defend, or run, hide, fight. So basically, if they're outside and they hear gunshots, you get away from the building and you get to a safe area.
Awesome, perfect. And then, sorry, I said multiple questions. I just saved to the end here, but
That's okay.
for the zero eyes or artificial intelligence, is that for all schools, all campuses?
Yes, sir. That will be at the goal initially is we will have them at all campuses throughout the district, and they will be at the exit or entry points where we have common, large gatherings, like where parents drop off kids, where folks are coming from the parking lot to the main facilities. So they will be there. 152 of our 19 campuses will have their cameras embedded with this artificial intelligence.
Great. And then final question. I know back during the summer when we had the emergency call or a call to get together to talk about Uvalde and things, that there was some discussion about whether or not we would go down the road of potentially arming staff or arming teachers or give them, the flexibility to do that. Did we get close to that, or was that just quashed pretty quickly, or just from my own understanding?
Yeah, I can answer that, Steve. Thank you for that. Yeah, we did evaluate that. We're currently in the process of getting advice from our legal counsel as far as Berna guns. All of our police officers carry these non-lethal Berna guns, and they shoot a .68 caliber uh, wall, and it has a irritant in it, like pepper spray. And from what we understand and the training our police officers have gone through carrying these, it'll pause. It'll pause people. And so we're seeing right now, waiting to hear back from our legal counsel if our staff are able to have those legally. And so we're going to evaluate that option first before we try to make a decision on whether we want to arm them with a lethal weapon or not.
Understood. I appreciate that, Danny.
Yeah,
I think, Ty, I had sent you a note earlier about some of our classrooms have windows that are not capable of being opened, and had a question about whether or not we would be able to have a tool that could break those windows out if students and teachers needed to escape through those windows.
You're talking about a breacher at the windows, and I would say that would be an absolute yes. I got that information from you, and we're in process and evaluating that and figure out,
Okay.
how we're going to make that happen for the district. But as we have our talks with all the campus leadership and the staff at their staff meetings, Chief Wage and my conversation with them is, you need to have your own individual plan for your room. We've got a plan, for the entire district and for your campus, how things are. But if when you're in lockdown, if the bad guys breaching your room, then again, we're in lockdown, so it should be lights outdoors, locked out of sight. But if they're coming in, now it's game over. You do whatever you need to do to defend, deny, or to attack the offender.
Understood. Just a general comment here. I really appreciate all the work that the district has done towards protecting our staff and our kids. I'm really proud of that for sure. But thanks for your answers.
Thank you, sir.
hey Ty, I believe David was able to pull that up on his computer. I still can't get it on mine.
All right, let me see if he just sent it to me. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up right quick.
While he's working on that, are there any further questions?
I had something, Mr. Whitehead.
Sure.
We are treating doors that don't secure like an emergency work request. So even though we may be formally checking doors on a schedule, we get work orders every day. Somebody goes through the door, it's been closed properly. So for us, that address it immediately, which kind of helps out too.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mr. Schulte, I've had nothing but great feedback from our campuses regarding the response time on that is a priority. So we do appreciate that ongoing. I know that you don't really have much going on right now with the start of school, so jokingly, of course, I say that you guys are crazy busy. So we do appreciate you prioritizing the doors being fixed. Absolutely. Thank you. I believe Mr. Morrow is now going to show us the wonderful door breaching tool. So we're ready when you want us to play it, Ty.
All right, let me see if I can get this bad baby to
Thank you, Ty. So what we found out is all my guys this summer went through a mechanical and physical breaching class. And so they were taught hands-on using the Halligan tool, sledgehammer, and they're actually using a shotgun with some buck rounds. It's hard to get in. I'm gonna tell you right now, we went down to Fleming, and it is very hard to get in those doors with a Halligan tool and a sledgehammer. The school doors are reinforced. Uh, then we went to the shotgun breaching class, and we didn't really want to be putting the way you shoot those. We didn't really want to be putting rounds into a classroom. So we found this. The sheriff's office actually has one. They brought it down here. We looked at it. We were able to practice with it, and then we are in the process of buying two for the district. Just so we have no problem, no issues that we will be able to get into a classroom if the need arises.
All right.
Does anybody have any questions?
All right. Seeing none, I'll kick it back to Mr. Whitehead and then closing remarks, sir.
No, again, I thank you, everyone for participating in today's meeting, and I thank you, Ty and Chief, and our board and Mr. Massey for the continued efforts to make sure our kids are safe. We're layering and layering and layering. We never rest at trying to make sure we have everything we need. It is an ongoing, never-ending process, but we have a lot of things in place, and I feel like we're on the right track, and I do appreciate everyone's continued efforts on that. So, any final questions or concerns? And remember, you can always email me directly, Ty directly, Mr. Massey directly. We're happy to answer questions to anyone who has them. Hearing that, Ty, you want to officially close us with a time?
Okay, it officially closed out at 4:47. Again, if you have not signed into the roster that's embedded in the chat room or in the link, please do so. So we got an acknowledgement that you were here. And again, thank you for your time and attention. And we will see you at our next meeting, which is January, I believe it's the 15th. But it should already be on your books. I've sent you a calendar invite to kind of hold that spot. Until then, see you next time.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.